It's not the best one. It's not the great one. You're speaking with the juiciest one.
Orgullosamente latino hasta la muerte y después. Worldwide Latino pride, the ambassadors of violence. LAX, K-Dog, the notorious 187 homicide.
Bang the dang the dang dang. Don't say nothing. Bang the dang the dang dang. We be dumping. Bang the dang the dang dang. Just act like you know and homie stop.
I come through stomping. I'm from Miami, not Compton. Down with the essays in the 6-4 hopping. To my boricuas in the 787. And those up in Brooklyn pulling 211.
I come through stomping, rolling in my low top chucks, making sure you suckers feel me every time we buzz. Shackled up like a nut, going 5150. G'd up and the feet up, creased up as some dicky.
Welcome to Keepin It 100 with Conan. Millions and millions of downloads and pound after pound of Iranian tobacco later, we remain infinitely as the flagship show on the Jericho Network. I'm your MC, the quintessential stud muffin, Joel. I'm that dude whose penis has his own special reserved parking spot inside your mother's honey pot. Gertner. This week, on a special Patreon-only episode, Tony Schiavone returns to talk more WCW, present-day WWE, what happened when Mondays with Conrad Thompson, and Tony's return to commentary with MLW. All this, plus NFL talk. Jericho versus Omega. Conan at the Impact tapings in Orlando. Listener emails. The Masked Republic Minute. The world-famous Disco List. And more. And now, without further delay, let's hand it off to the master of the verbal gem. It's Conan.
Yo, we're back with episode 80 of Keeping It 100 with Conan, the mighty D.I., and JoJo, the Philly twink boy. What it do? Boom.
What's up?
What's going on?
Well, first, let's just real quick, because a lot of people had been asking us about this. Let me get to the shout out and then I'll go into us moving. Real quick, Kate Mistakitis from Melbourne, Australia.
Wait, time out.
Yes. Yes, a family member was shouted out. Yes.
You shouted out a family member?
Well, Stacy's sister.
Okay.
She was here during the. She went here. Yeah. She came on here during the holidays, and we had an incredible time. And we went to Ray's house for both Christmas and New Year's, and it was out of control. We had a great time. And I told her I was going to shout her out, and I did. Also, Can't Tell Me Nothing from Kenosha, Wisconsin. He's a guy that buried his cousin last week, right? Yeah, I might be saying him again. Let me see. American Devil, who represents Cleveland, Vegas, and South Bay in California. FB.com, Wrestling Forever from Los Angeles. Octavio Lopez from Redwood City, California. Thank you for joining our Patreon site. Jeff Bronk from Las Vegas. And that's it for this week. So let me tell you real quick. For a while now, we had been having problems at Podcast One, and we were trying to fix them as best we could. And Chris Jericho obviously had problems too, and so he ended up leaving to Westwood One. And we were going to make the announcement last week, but they told me to wait because we'd still be on the air in podcast 1, 2, we got the Westwood one. Then they reneged on that and just cut the plug. So you're probably listening to you are listening to this on our Patreon site. Thank you for that. It's not a bait and switch or a ploy to get you to come over here to pay. It's just we had no other platform. So hopefully by next week we will be at Westwood One with Jericho, and I know the rest of the Keepin' It 100 network is going to be coming. Bro, I love to go on Twitter, DI, and just troll to entertain myself, just like you do, okay? Because if we aren't entertaining others, we like to entertain ourselves. I ain't afraid to do shit just to pop myself, okay? It's always better if there's an eyewitness, okay? And I think you and I are the same, DI. We'll engage with other trolls if they are clever or funny, and you can usually tell, like, by one tweet usually what you're dealing with. And I don't really got much time of the day to be on Twitter, so while I'm on, I want to be entertained or informed, and I usually am, when I come on Twitter or Facebook. So one of the things I wanted to tell you, because I saw you guys going back and forth, like on private text, on the text that the group text that we have with Shane Helms and who else is it? JoJo, sometimes Jericho.
Yeah.
What's been going down with Sean Sapp and our boy Ryan? Or no, who was it? Sean and KG, and then Ryan was somebody else?
Well, KG, that was funny, yeah.
Yeah.
They, let me see if I can find it.
KG hates country. He hates country music.
KG hates country music. And,
that's not very Peter, mate.
Was ripping on Sean Ross Sapp for liking the
Timberlake.
The new Justin Timberlake country song, I guess he has coming out. Is that accurate? That Justin Timberlake has a country song?
Or it's like country flavored anyway.
Right. So they're like going back and forth, and Sean is like, well, you don't have to be a dick about it. You're really being. Bro, it's just like it's funny watching like kind of like two like liberals like
two
arguing
snowflakes
with each other, trying to, and like they're offended at each other.
Right.
It's just like it was a very entertaining exchange.
It's like a slap
if you go to
fight.
KG's Sean's timeline, you can see it. It was actually funny.
Right, and who was Ryan Satin kicking up dust on now?
Well, him and Jericho had a thing.
No, I think it was after Jericho.
He
went after somebody else again?
Yeah, because I saw you put something in the text about Ryan going after somebody else.
What did it? No. They're not somebody else. It's the same thing about that soundbite that Jericho had where he told Ryan Satin to go F himself.
All right. So he's still hot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, because Jericho had basically dedicated the match.
Right, that Eddie and Benoit.
Well, Eddie, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, actually, he said, here's like someone.
He likes the fan art, yeah.
Yeah, someone tweeted him a picture of him standing in front of Eddie and Benoit, and Jericho was like, I dedicate the match in Japan, against Kenny Omega to my fallen brothers. So he never said I dedicate to Chris Benoit or Eddie Guerrero both. Although, when you say fallen brothers, it covers, whatever people want to take out of it. So I guess Ryan Satin, of course, jumped on it.
What else are you going to take if fallen brothers are in the picture with him? But
no, of course.
Here's the thing, huh?
I said no, of course.
Right. It's almost like when Trump. Trump's the best at this. He'll say one thing and then, say he really meant something else. Like, remember when he had that squashed bug that said CNN on his shoe?
Mm-hmm.
And then he was trying to go, oh, well, it's just him, squashing a bug. Yeah, but a bug doesn't have the letter CNN on them, And it isn't like we can't see what you're trying to do. Just say it, Right. And but I think what was also funny is because I saw this thing that somebody sent me where there's like a picture of O.J. Simpson with these fans, and then he's trying to kind of defend himself, and he says, yeah, here's another, murder that got away, and journalists are calling him out because I guess some guy from ABC, I want to say Jake Tapper or David Muir, one of those little, pretty boy guys that they have now, had kind of buried somebody for posting a picture with O.J. Simpson.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Saying that, oh, don't you realize he's a murderer? Bro, most people don't even give a shit about that. He's a celebrity to them, and celebritydom outrides everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, like, people have it's just like, bro, it's just the police. the online police that try to like let you know when you're wrong or how you're supposed to feel, how you're supposed to act.
Like, bro, I'll give you a good example. You saw what happened at the Golden Globes. Like, they wanted everybody to come out in black.
Mm-hmm.
And some lady dressed in red.
Well, time out. Let me see this. Explain that to me. I didn't watch the Golden Globes. Did you watch it?
No,
I didn't watch it, but I read what was going on.
Yeah, it was.
What went on?
It was like in solidarity against all the sexual harassment and things like that. All the women were supposed to come in black to make a statement.
Right. And some girl just decided to go in red, but she still supports the thing, and they were trying to like shame her. And then I thought, bro, this is exactly what pisses me off. We're not sheep. We don't have to do everything you say, when you say it, how you say it, and the way you think. You know, you're the guys that started all this liberal, free speech in Berkeley, and now you're the same people that won't let people like Milo and other people, whether it's Ann Coulter. Okay, you disagree with them. That doesn't mean you have to shut them up. And if people don't want to do what you want to do, you're the problem. And these snowflakes don't understand that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. With the Jericho side thing. Good.
Just in reference to the Jericho thing, it's like like when Ryan kept going on and on and on. He's like, Chris Benoit killed his wife and kid. Like, end of discussion. Let's move on. And then he still didn't stop tweeting about it. He just kept like having to bring it. And here's the thing: it's like, dude, it's like we get it, Ryan. Okay, Chris Benoit did a horrible thing. We know, but like, some of us actually knew the guy.
Right.
Like, personally, something you never did. Right. So we have
and you're never gonna find anybody that knew Chris Benoit talk bad about him. We are all saddened because Nancy was our friend.
Yeah.
We're saddened, we're sickened, we're confused. That's not the Chris Benoit. If you would have gave me a lineup in WCW of somebody that would commit a murder like that, I can guarantee you Chris would have been very low on that list. And so was it CTE? That's what I try to tell myself. It could have been that. I mean, they did say that it was like the brain of an 80-year-old man, right? And then, so, I mean, who knows what it was, but Chris was always a guy that everybody respected and everybody liked. It's hard for everybody to bury him. Nobody's saying that what he did was wrong.
Right.
But you know what I'm saying? It's like everything else. It's when you don't know somebody or when it doesn't hit close to home, it's hard to be emphatic or have empathy because you didn't know the person. Do you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, to me, it was like, and I tweeted it to somebody, like, it's Chris's life, it's his match, it's his career, it was his friend, it was your guy's friend as well. Like, who is Ryan or anyone to tell him, like, you can't do that? Like, exactly like you guys said, Ryan, you never knew the guy. You know what I mean? You're not in Chris's shoes right now. It seemed like...
Right. And here's a problem with Ryan. That's twice he goes after Chris, and I don't know if he's trying to brand himself, like I'm the guy that, or a combination of both. But at the end of the day, Chris is a guy that doesn't really mess with anybody, and that's twice you've gone after him. And on top of that, you're going to get his fan base, which is, millions of people.
Well,
yeah.
Ryan tweeted out something, too, that was actually very funny.
Right.
In retrospect. It's like somebody had tweeted something like, why is it the worst people on Twitter are the ones that are always coming after me? And, like, Ryan retweeted that and said, I know how you feel.
Yeah.
Like, bro, he's oblivious to the fact that, like, he's the heel.
Right.
That's the fucking part.
Should we put him on the same planet as Vampiro and Juventud and Teddy Hart? Planet Oblivion?
Planet Oblivion, yeah.
Well, here's the thing. He may have gotten the clicks and all that he was looking for, though, when he posted that article. So maybe he really, it's like, I think, Conan, you said on there, like he's just trying to brand himself, or he's becoming... like a character or tweeting things he knows are going to get attention. He's going to get those clicks on that article because it's a controversial subject.
Right, that's what it is, bro. In a world of guys like Trump and what's LeVar Ball and all these people that are just, over the top.
Obvious, bro, they're obvious. Here's the thing. And this is why I think it's hysterical, especially with Trump. Trump is it's like painfully obvious that he is trolling everybody.
Right.
Okay, trying to get reactions. And the fact that they're responding accordingly, exactly the way he wants them to react, is just like, and like the news is covering it like that too.
Right.
It's like, dude, you guys got to be a little more like savvy here because you're just getting worked by the guy.
And they even say it, bro. When you read interviews by guys like Steve Bannon or guys like that from his camp, They say it straight on. We do that to drive the liberal snowflakes mad, and it works. So we just keep doing it. Exactly.
Like, why would you stop it? It's like, I'm like, how can you people get so upset when he tweets stuff? He's been doing this for a year and a half. It's like, I mean, don't you? And you guys are reacting and say, it's like, like when you train a dog, you call it Pavlov's dogs, where you spank him every time he does, he pees his spot. But bro, it's like you're trying to train the dog, and they're just like figuring it out.
The worst thing you can show a troll like that is indifference or ignore him.
Right. Yeah,
they're trying to rile you up. Huh?
Right. It's right. People that get riled up about it have to retweet them. And,
That's why, like, when
you're not a genius. Stephen King retweets, if you have to say that you're a genius, you're really not a genius.
Right.
I'm like, oh my God. It's like, guys, really?
Right. Exactly. If you're all the time, every time he's always, I'm very smart. You know, I went to the best college. I'm very, bro, you don't sound intelligent. That's for damn sure.
Yeah. Oh God. But that's what Trump is. I'm telling you, that's where Trump is outsmarting these people.
Because he's excellent master troll, bro. Master troll. Much respect. He don't give a fuck.
Yeah. And it's like we're thinking, like, well, the president's not supposed to troll. Well, he is. Yeah. You know, that's what he's been doing from the get-go. It's keeping you guys off balance because you guys keep going crazy every time he tweets.
Right.
You know
he's popping every time. Him and his crew are just popping. Yeah. I heard this promo on SmackDown. I wanted you to listen to it. That wasn't on SmackDown. It wasn't on SmackDown. It was in his car. Okay. And so I've never seen this guy cut a promo like this on TV, which just goes back to something that you and me have always talked about. Let the wrestlers that can cut a promo cut their own promos, okay? The guy's name, and you know him because he's super over with me because he's like a spaz. Remember that Mojo Riley guy?
Yeah.
Okay, listen to this promo. He's talking, obviously, you'll see, he's talking to Zack Ryder, but he cuts it in his car, you know? Okay, you got it, JoJo?
Yep.
Yeah, go ahead.
The United States Championship is a symbol representative of a country that is called the Land of Opportunity. SmackDown Live is called the Land of Opportunity. And I get Zack Ryder in the first round of the tournament. Funny because that's what I used to respect so much about you, Zack. That you made the most of your opportunity. Because let's face it, you've always been the perpetual underdog. The guy that nobody bet on. But you used that opportunity to win championships, to win the very championship that we're competing for on Tuesday. But it wasn't your wins that impressed me, Zack. It was your losses that impressed me. Because no matter how high they stacked up, you kept coming back for more. You did not quit. You hung in there. And that is the guy that I wanted to tag with. That I wanted to go to war with. The guy that I wanted to be in the trenches with. Until about a month ago. When I realized that you are not defined by an ability to survive, but rather by a failure to improve. To do what must be done. To adapt, to change, to display a killer instinct that will elevate your circumstances. And it's that same lack of killer instinct that held me down. That took my opportunities away from me time after time after time and left me in the darkness. Me in the shadows, ruining my career. So on Tuesday, that's what I'm going to do to you. I'm going to leave you broken and beat down in that ring in the darkness. While I walk away with your opportunity. And at that very moment, you are going to know exactly what you've put me through.
There you go.
What do you think of that, bro?
Like,
yeah, that's a good promo, you know? And I just think that, bro, if, you know, you don't have to write everything for everybody. There are guys that can talk. You should know who can talk. I think they give promo classes and shit like that, you know, or you can just listen.
You should earn the right to talk.
Huh?
If you can cut good promos on your own, you should earn the right to talk.
Right. Right.
Like if you're cutting better promos in the writing for you, you earn the right to talk. But they just don't know why they don't give the people that opportunity. You know.
Yeah, it's incredible. And have you been watching SmackDown at all or no?
No, I haven't won. These shows are just not interested in me lately.
Bro, they keep destroying Fandango. They put him up against the Bludgeon Brothers again.
Why do they keep doing that, I wonder?
Well, they're trying to get the Bludgeon Brothers over, but there's they've already like destroyed Tyler Breeze or whatever.
Are they setting it up so I can come in and manage them and lead them to the championships?
That might be the only thing that might rescue what's happening.
True.
Because, bro, check this out. Not only did they beat up Fashion Police, wee woo, wee woo, then the Ascension's music played, and you knew it was going to happen. And that Connor and Victor hit the ring attempting to rescue these guys, and they just got destroyed too. You know? Mm-hmm. It's like, it's almost like everything that they had been doing, all the credibility they built up with their character development and skits is almost meaningless because now they just look like they're, the promotion tells you what they think about them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Keeping up with, how we always make fun of the names like the Undisputed Era and Absolution and, Feliz Davidad and all that. Now they gave this name to.
What is that? That's a real name of tag.
No. Remember when they had probably Enzo came up with this. Remember it was Christmas and they had Sean Devari's brother. What's his name, Jojo? Do you even know?
It's Arya Davari, right?
Something like that. And he was like Feliz Davidad, Davidad instead of Navidad. I was like, that is so corny.
Wow.
But anyways. They have these girls. I think it's like Carmela and Lana. Who's the other one? Natalie. And they're called the Welcoming Committee.
Oh, my God.
Right.
So, yeah, all these writers, and they come up with the lamest, names for tags. It's brutal, bro.
Yeah.
And I want to make a point, too, here. And this is something where WWE has lost its way again, Is that, bro? Well, let's be honest, okay? But the Bullet Club merchandise is selling like crazy, right?
Right.
But let's be perfectly honest, okay? No disrespect to the Young Bucks,
right?
But nobody's buying those shirts because they're big fans of the Young Bucks. They're buying those shirts because they look cool, and you can wear the shirts anywhere because it's a cool looking shirt that you would put on and go out anywhere with it. Bro, does WWE have one single shirt right now that you would like that if you were like a regular person would put the shirt on and go out in public with it, or would you just wear it to a wrestling show?
Well, better question. Yeah. When's the last time that they had a shirt at all that you would, you know what I'm saying, that you would want to wear in public? When's the last time a shirt like that even existed from WWE?
Oh,
let me just say one thing. I would disagree with that. They don't just buy them because they're cool. They buy them because it's the Young Bucks,
right?
And they have a cool shirt.
But the shirts look cool. I think it's more that the shirts look cool than it's because of Young. I mean, every metric you can put out there, based on the amount of people that watch Ring of Honor and stuff and everything, are not.
I bet you people that go in. Okay, I bet you people that go in there, you're probably not going to find too many guys wearing a Young Bucks shirt that don't know who they are. It's mostly people that know who they are. You're not going to buy a shirt of somebody you don't know. But what is funny to me is that, like, when Jericho kept asking everybody, like, where they bought their Alpha shirt because I guess they were selling it in Hot Topics, correct?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And then they kept going, sold out, and they kept going where? And they would say what city. And so that's what's happened. It's just the same thing like the promo. You've got these guys that are probably nerds. I don't even know who we're dealing with at this point, that are working in WWE that have no idea of what's cool. And they're bringing out this bullshit product where the Young Bucks can design their own shit, or say, I don't like this and I like this. And I'll give you an example. Meltzer told me that he had actually gone to Hot Topics to buy a shirt for his son, okay? And then that the girl saw his name, and she was, "Are you, Meltzer from the Meltzer Driver?" And she goes, "Yeah." And she goes, "Oh, our manager's a big fan of yours, and he's a big fan of the Young Bucks." And Melcher said, "Oh, really?" And he goes, "How come you don't have any WWE shirts in here?" She goes, "They don't sell."
They don't.
Yeah.
Let me equate it to. Let me tell you. This is what I'm equating to. Is the Bullet Club shirts remind me of the NWO shirts.
Right.
You know, you wore the NWO shirt because first, you know, you like the NWO, but it's not like you were a huge Hogan fan or like, you know, just you like the symbol of the NWO, right? But the shirt looked cool.
Right.
So and like the Austin Skull and Pro, you know, there's a handful of shirts that look cool. It's like it's really weird that like the WWE, whoever's in their art department or whatever they got going on, cannot come up with shirts that look cool. Like even John Cena's shirts are like, you know, it's like we get it that you're targeting a young audience, but you need to start putting out some merch that adults can wear too.
And not just that, young people want to wear cool shit. You know, that's why. Right. And right. So to me, the perfect marriage is this. If you have a guy that isn't that over, but he has a cool shirt, I don't think that many people are going to buy the shirt. But if you have a guy that's super over and his shirt ain't that nice, you might have more people buy it. But the perfect marriage is a cool person with a cool shirt. And that's the perfect marriage. But, you know, I just think that what I've noticed is there's a fan base. I don't know how big it is, but there is a big fan base that doesn't like, you know, Impact. They don't like WWE. They don't like what they're being given on TV. And they kind of like what's going on the indie scene, whether it's New Japan or, you know. And so there's kind of a niche audience for these people that are giving, and it is a niche audience, what they want, but they support, you know.
Well, let me say this real quick because you were mentioning the NWO shirt, DI. You know that still sells. Like the top 5 shirts. I wanted to look this up and mention this because what we were talking about.
Black. It's you know, it just looks cool. It's like, you know, that's got no problem wearing a shirt like that out in public. Got no problem wearing a Bullet Club shirt in public. You know, I'll be honest with you. Some of the Mass Republic shirts are pretty cool. You know, something like they're cool looking designs and stuff. It doesn't look like when people. Here's the thing. You don't want to like wrestling is not popular among mainstream fans or among mainstream people.
Yeah.
You don't want people to look at a shirt and say, "Oh, that's a wrestling shirt. Look how corny that looks." You know what I'm saying? But you look at like a Bullet Club shirt, you go, "Wow, that's a cool shirt." Even if you don't know what the Bullet Club is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Okay, that's what you want your merch to look like, where everybody can wear. Like, remember we used to come on the airports and you get off the plane and the NWO shirts would be in the stores, or the Austin shirts would be in the stores, like at the airports.
Yeah.
And they look like their shirts look cool. Everybody on traveling would see these shirts. You know what I'm saying? But like if they see like the WWE shirts right now, they're not gonna look at those things twice.
So you're telling me you're gonna sit there in Las Vegas and tell me that the Seth freaking Rollins is not a good seller?
Well, here's the top 5 right now. If you want to hear the top 5 shirts, WWEshop.com. All right, number 5 is AJ Styles Untouchable T-shirt. 4 is the NWO, so that's still the number 4 shirt they're selling right now.
Think about that. Put that in perspective for a minute. You know.
3 is
this is 20 years ago.
Yeah. 3 is the Usos down since day one ish. Conan's favorite shirt there. I know you're a big fan of that catchphrase.
That's brutal too. 2
is the Shield United. And what do you think number 1 is?
Okay, I'm gonna guess.
Yeah.
It's either a Rusev shirt or a New Day shirt.
Yeah, it's 100% Happy Rusev Day is the number 1 shirt on WWEshop.com right now.
That's a funny shirt.
Yeah.
I like that. Something you would wear out and people would look at it. Oh, that's fine. That's fine. It's not like an embarrassing shirt to wear. It's like funny, but it's not cartoonish and childish. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, it's unbelievable. Like, that's the thing I just can't understand about that place is the lack of creativity coming out from the team that they have there.
In all aspects.
Yeah.
All aspects. You got all these writers, all these. I'm like, come on, this is what you're. It's like maybe the people that you're hiring just are not creative. Maybe they're faking it in the interviews. You know,
incredible. It's incredible with the name that they have, the legacy, the library, the network. Everything, the great production, everything they have at their disposal, and this is what they churn out. It's very, very, you know, I'm sure, you know, you and Russo every week are probably saying the same thing you and me are saying, right?
Well, I don't even want, if he tries to bring it up, I said, I'm not going to talk about it anymore because we talk about this every week. It's just rinse repeat. until
Right.
they start changing things. It's just, what are you going to talk about? You're just repeating yourself over and over, you know?
Right.
We got some mail.
Go ahead.
We got some mail. Okay. Let me see.
By the way, I've just been informed by Chris Jericho's lawyer we will be on Westwood One next week.
That's good.
Nice.
Well, thank you. Go ahead and announce it. Is Chris going to send in an apology that somehow plugs something that he's got coming up or something?
No, why do you
anytime?
keep thinking that the only reason he was sending apologies was to promote the show?
Because he would always start off every apology by promoting the show.
Well,
And
yeah,
he
because he
attended-
had an upcoming show. He's plugging his shit. And now you're trying to say he didn't send an apology because he has nothing to plug. Is that what you're saying?
It's exactly what I'm saying.
That's insulting.
Okay,
That's
listen.
exactly-
The guy went out there. I know you gave it -5 stars. He put on a classic. He bled. He went and did a run in. He went and did a run in the next day. He was being mobbed. He was being mobbed by fans as Lord Cyrus was. Thankfully, Paul Lazenby was providing first-rate security.
Oh, thank
The
God.
guy was doing talk shows. He was doing seminars. He's tired. Give him a chance to rest, and he'll send an apology.
Whatever. Let's go to the mailbag. The Jericho aggravates. Okay.
Wow.
We'll talk about that match in the outro. It was not -5 stars, but definitely not 5 stars.
Oh, wow. Okay.
All right. This is from Official Z Media, and the Z is spelled Z-I-I. It's kind of weird.
Right.
And the subject is, who got pranked on more back in the day? All right.
Right.
Hello, Keep It at 100 crew. My name is Isaiah, and I'm from parts unknown, California. Just because do that. That's
All right. I like that, though, but go.
I want to thank you, Senior Conan, for bringing us this podcast and being a very entertaining guy, both
Senior
inside and
Conan?
out.
What the hell's
Senior
that?
Conan. Senior.
Yeah.
I would thank you. I would thank you, Joseph, but what have you really contributed except for replacing someone who goes in the corner of the internet like a hobo asking for a change, but instead asks to split the cost of a New Japan experience, always saying, quote, but I digress, unquote, after every sentence.
Wow.
Who's he talking about?
Wait. I wonder if this is the first of many letters of people putting over KG like you had asked. But go ahead.
Maybe.
As for you, Mr. Disco, I think you're doing something good fighting racism one hand job at a time.
Wow.
It doesn't matter what the color of someone's skin or gender. You make sure to make your fans welcome with sapphires because who's really wants an autograph from you? My question is, who pranked on more back in the day? Thank you, and God bless you, Disco.
Let me just say something right out the box, right? So when you're in the wrestling community, everybody's getting pranked and everybody more or less fair game. Okay?
Right.
Because even guys that you may not get along with, to prank them, or you don't know them well enough or whatever, somebody else will prank them. And it's your job to point that out. So if you fall asleep in an airplane, you're getting pranked. Yeah.
Yeah. The pranks would come organically. But you would see a situation arise that like unexpected, say, hey, we need to do this. And it could have been anybody. So nobody got pranked on more back in the day. I got pranked on a lot because I like to prank.
Right.
So like that, So
well, you would instigate it too. So that's another thing. You'd go in there and you get heat with the people, rile them up, troll them, and get them riled up. And then you were always playing pranks on me. I remember one time, and I forgot what it was you did to me, but I remember one time I had either stolen that goose or duck. What was it? A goose, right?
It was a goose, but we called it a duck.
Oh, okay.
Right. And it was funny because then you used to say duck, 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 goose or something like that. Remember? Mm-hmm. And so I had hid the duck from you, and you were supposed to take it out on TV for a promo. And then you went and you used Rey Mysterio because I remember Rey kept telling me, no, I have nothing to do with this. I have nothing to do with this. You know I'd never lie to you. And he'd never lied to me. And this day he did. But when it comes to a prank, all bets are off. You know what I'm saying? And he had helped you hide something from me. Do you even remember what it was? It was right before a TV taping.
I forgot. Do you remember?
Yeah. No, I can't remember, but I remember you got me back for hiding the duck, the goose, or whatever from you. But that's the thing. The bottom line is we all pranked each other, and if you were boys, it was even worse. You know, so yeah.
All right, so you ready for the next email? This is from Daniel Poinsett. And the subject is, finally, a positive email for KG. Hey, guys, my name is Porky Chessman, and I have to defend my boy KG with some PMA truths. So please read this email of things we need to celebrate in his very successful career in this great business. Kevin Gill is by far a complete success story. I've never seen someone with zero talent ever last this long in the wrestling business. I've never lasted a little with his self-proclaimed improv committed genius. I've never seen a podcast show last so long without any fan base or downloads of the Kevin Gill Show. I've never gotten bigger douche chills when he will name drop people he's worked with without anyone ever asking. I've never seen a face that looks like Sloth from the Goonies as much as his.
Jesus.
I've never seen someone worse than Ryan Satin at being a hypocrite. I also have never written an email for about anyone before. So maybe that bald 45-year-old with no money, career, looks, talent, humor, smarts, or self-awareness. Wait, no, I'm just a 30-year-old Conan and Disco Mark with no hobbies. Shout out to JoJo. Also get Scott Steiner on the show. That was not a positive email
I
from
think
KG.
he hit the nail on the head with that email.
Well, it was a bait and switch. Okay?
Yeah, it was a swerve. But that's a good swerve. I liked it. I didn't like you putting over JoJo, so that's for that. Okay.
Okay, that was a bait and switch.
He was a masturbator.
Okay. This is from Big Big 316 Redman.
And for laughing at that. That was brutal.
Okay, the subject is LOL. Okay. Big Baby 316 Redman. Is this the thing?
Yes. Yes, it is.
So I guess he's got another response. Okay. Listen, racism and bigotry. Racists and bigots hate without reason. That's not me, LOL. Using offensive language to offend people is not hate. I can't believe how snowflake-ish you are being about this subject. You guys who make slurs on gay and other groups like the transgender are getting all Kevin Gill on me, LOL. You're acting more like KG than I am. Saying offensive words does not make me racist, laugh out loud, politically incorrect maybe, but not racist. The purpose of saying an offensive slur is to offend people. Doesn't mean you feel that way about the entire group that they belong to. It just means I hate that one guy. Someone calls me a fat fuck. I don't think he hates all overweight people. Laugh out loud, he just hates me. What is the fucking difference? I'm shocked you guys don't understand. You care to comment on this?
Hey.
Well, I'm shocked you don't understand. At the end, you can't tell me, okay? And I think Disco agrees, and we ain't afraid to disagree on shit. But you can't tell me that if your daughter told you that she's dating a black guy, that you're saying, "Oh fuck, you're dating that N-word," because that sounds super racist to me. Now, you're making, huh?
That's exactly what as society we're trying to get away from that mindset of like doing stuff like that, you know?
Right. And even if it wasn't society, to me, that would sound racist. If you told me that, that'd be like, bro, that sounds very racist to me. Now, you're trying to make the same point we always make, because we say a gay joke or we say a transgender joke doesn't mean we have anything against them. We just made that joke. We've made that point before, but it's in a joking manner, bro. You know, this didn't sound like you were joking when you said it. So you may not be racist, but you're definitely oblivious to what you're doing, and you may need sensitivity classes.
Yeah. And last week he doubled down, and now he's tripled down. So
tripled down. Please don't send any more emails. Go ahead. And keep listening to the show, though.
Yeah.
Hey, what's this one? The Thursdays are still okay. Here we go. This is from Jose Sanchez. Subjects for Thursdays are still the best. Hello, Keep It 100. Happy New Year, Cody and Disco, and I guess JoJo.
Happy New
Thank
Year.
you for all the great content from 2017. I know 2018 will be even better. I'm not sure if you've commented on this, but since you are well in tune with sports, what are your thoughts on the potential return of the XFL? Also, since this got over last time, I'll now compliment JoJo. I think you did very well in the K100 FanDuel, considering that most of your time was spent between chatterbait and botching simple tasks for the show. Thanks again for all the great content. Jose from Queens, New York. P.S. Disco, below are some of the previous entries. Are they still on the list? And he lists Toys Figure Company. No, they're not on the list anymore. Peter Melnick, he's not on the list anymore. Kleinrock's fiance, yes, I forgot. She's still on the list.
Yeah.
We need to make sure. Independent Wrestling Fans, still on the list. And the Miss Juggalo Beauty Pageant. Now, that's not on the list anymore because that's done.
Right.
But, yeah. And I will say that the question was the thoughts on the XFL, I couldn't care less.
No?
I mean,
doesn't it, you know, don't you get a little hype that there would be more football on television, though?
Football or NFL football, that's all I care about. I don't care about minor league football.
I got you.
Right.
College, that's it.
Right. There's not enough great players out there to and too much football, right. Both.
I mean, as long as the Cleveland Browns are still playing in the NFL, it's like another minor league team is not going to minor league teams playing each other are not going to be interested. You know?
Right. And he's going to hype it up, and he's going to put all his give him personalities and do all the smoke and mirrors. But at the end of the day, the level of game is going to be so much. Yeah. It's still inferior to what we're seeing in NFL.
Less talented players and stuff. What I think, and I'm not the first person to say this, but is that they're really going to go behind the patriotic angle. I think he's really going to go behind the, you know what, we all stand for the anthem in the UFL or XFL, whatever they're going to call it. You know, I think he's really going to try to use that. Try to catch the NFL fans that have gone away.
Good luck with that if that's what you're using.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, yeah, I'm not going to be watching. I'll watch it just to have, to talk about it on the show and just to see what it's about. But I'm not going to be, you know what I'm saying?
Disco, would you play XFL FanDuel?
No. I guess what I did, I also did Antonio Thomas's podcast.
Oh, cool.
He has a podcast?
I don't know what it's called. Yeah.
It's like a sports podcast, Conan.
How was his knowledge in sports?
Very good.
Very good.
Very good. Mm-hmm.
All right, man. I want to thank everybody for checking out the intro. Enjoy the rest of the show. Boom.
Hey, this is the franchise Shane Douglas in the world-famous ECW Arena. You're listening to Keepin' It 100 with Conan right here on the podcast. And his co-host, Dance the Night. Why? Disco Inferno? Are you kidding me? You got Conan on one end of Disco? Hey, some guys are acquired taste, I guess. But listen, Conan and I go way, way back. WCW folded. They didn't fold because of revolutionaries like the franchise and Conan. No. We were the reason that WCW should have been and could have been kicking the shit out of the WWE. We go way back. You want the best in wrestling lowdown right here on the podcast? Listen to Conan's Keepin' It 100 or get your ass franchised.
Hey everybody, this is Bumblefoot from Art of Anarchy, formerly of Guns N' Roses, and you're listening to Keepin' It 100 with Conan, just like I do every week, whether I'm at home or on tour. Conan, K-Dog, you've done it all and done it well. You'll always be a champion. And Disco Inferno! I can't believe Conan lets you on his show. Guys, really?
So how did you end up getting on, you're with Court Bauer at MLW, right?
Yeah.
How do you end up getting on that?
At the first of this year, or the first of 2017, I was working at Georgia basketball game, and the producer on the other end, we hook in wherever we are. We hook into the main studios in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and I hooked into our producer. His name is Cabell Philpott, and Cabell said, "Hey, do you listen to Bruce Pritchard's podcast with Conrad Thompson?" And I said, "No, I don't. I've walked away from the business." He said, "Well, you ought to consider doing a podcast because you got a lot of great stories. I think you should try it." And I said, "Yeah, thank you very much. Go fuck yourself," something like that. And so oddly enough, that was on a Tuesday. Oddly enough, on a Monday, the following Monday, I get a email from Conrad Thompson. I can't remember how he got my email, but he got it. Maybe he got it from Flair, and said that he and Flair had stopped their podcast, and he would like to do a podcast with me. And it was a very detailed email about, you can make a little money selling T-shirts. You can make a little money with sponsors. It'll be worth your while. So I at first I said, hell no. But then my wife reminded me, she didn't need to remind me, that our daughter was getting married in 2018. And if, in fact, it can make a little bit of extra money for the house, it would help out with the wedding. So I said, yeah, let's give it a shot. So we did, and we've had a lot of fun with it. So that's how it kind of started, with Conrad first getting in touch with me.
Question. Well, let me get another question too. How long have you been doing the Braves farm team broadcast?
This will be my 10th year. This will be my 10th year. When the Braves AAA team was in Richmond, Virginia, forever since 1966. The Richmond Braves, and then in 2009 they moved to Gwinnett County. You know where that is, Glenn. And
how far are you from the stadium?
I'm 35 miles from the stadium.
Okay.
Yeah, it's quite a drive. I got to go down 400, cross top end perimeter, and up 85. because the ballpark is up where the Mall of Georgia is. So it's quite a hike for me. So I've been the only radio guy that they've had since the Richmond Braves moved to Gwinnett County.
I got a question for you because I can't. I mean, we heard the stories. Bro, what exactly did the Braves GM do with that we lost all these we lost all those prospects from like the in the Latino countries and stuff. What was going on there? Do you know what it was?
It's very difficult to pinpoint because of all the legalities of player development contracts and the unions and everything. He broke rules, and one of his international scouts broke rules when it comes to contacting international prospects. They blatantly broke the rules, and therefore they ended up getting a lot of guys that they normally legally wouldn't have been able to get. That's about as generic as I can tell you without making our heads explode.
What did you think that is going to do to the Braves for the next couple of years? They had some pretty good guys they lost.
Yeah, you know what? They lost this. Everybody's talking about losing Kevin Maitan, and he was one of their top prospects. I saw Kevin Maitan play, although only saw video of it this past year. He was good, but listen, man, and Conan, you can also talk to this. Down in Cuba and down in South America, there are millions of great ball players. It's still a lot of guys out there. If you lose one, you lose two. There are a bunch of young kids right behind it that can fill that void. So I'm not. I think it was a good thing because I never did like the Braves GM John Coppolella that well, and I think they got a good general manager now. So I think it all ended up being a good thing. I'm really shocked that he's been banned from baseball for life. I mean, it's him and Joe Jackson and Pete Rose, right?
And this is how just going afraid to talk all over me. But here it's like a recurring thing. I told them the other day, I wish we were more like, did you ever see that comic group Penn and Teller?
Yeah.
You know how one guy never talks, but he's still over? Yeah, same thing with DI, but he's not catching the concept. But I always look at baseball like wrestling. Like when we were growing up, there weren't that many blacks, there weren't that many women, there weren't that many Latinos, there weren't that many smaller guys. Now there is, so there's a bigger talent pool to choose from. Same thing with baseball. Before, like when we grew up, you didn't have a lot of scouts in the Dominican Republic or, you know what I'm saying, or Cuba and all that. And now there are a lot of scouts out there, but there's so much talent out there that there's so much that you can't find it all. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And they got something that we never heard of growing up. They got what they call international pool money, international pool slots. They trade for this stuff now.
Right.
Yeah. So,
Tony, give me the best Braves prospect you've seen, like fielding wise and pitching wise, that you saw last year that should be on the squad this year.
Ronald Acuna is going to be a major star in baseball. I don't know if you guys heard of him or not.
Does he play?
He plays outfield. That's why they traded away Matt Kemp. The kid is from Venezuela, and the kid is the absolute. I think he just turned 20. Wow. He's the absolute best hitter that I have ever seen. And
really,
wow.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry, ever seen come through the minors? Okay,
right.
That's still saying a lot.
Yeah, I'm not going to say that he's out.
Did you see guys like Chipper Jones and guys like that go through the minors?
No, Chipper was before me, but I've seen Aaron Judge come through the minors with other teams. Yeah. I saw Freddie Freeman come through. Right. I saw Dansby Swanson come through.
Right.
I saw, but Ronald Acuna is the real deal, guys, and they put him in the Arizona Fall League. And he was the MVP of the Arizona Fall League just recently. The kid is absolutely amazing. Pitching wise, there have been a couple of real good guys come through. They got a kid from Brazil, big left-hander that I think is going to be very, very good. And he's so good, and I'm so old I can't even remember his name. But he reminds me of CC Sabathia, just big, almost 300 pounds. He throws about 98 miles an hour, He pitched in the big leagues a little bit this past year, so you're going to see him pitch, and I'll think of his name.
You know what? I was reading because I always follow the Braves because of Disco. Gohara, is that guy?
Yes, absolutely.
Luis
Gohara.
Heard of him. Yeah, I heard he's real good. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, man. Hey, I need you with me all the time. So I remember.
Tony, did you watch the Braves too? Did you watch a lot of the games?
No, I didn't. I look. I got a game every night. Every night. So by the time I'm done, the best I get is the highlights.
Well, why is Dansby Swanson having so much trouble?
Well, he was put into a pretty bad position. He became the face of the franchise without even taking one at bat.
Right.
So I think there was a lot of pressure on him, and he's still the face of the franchise.
But if you remember, Tony, when they promoted him again from AAA, he was on a tear.
Yeah, but Conan, he was down at AAA for us, and he didn't play that well in AAA. Yeah. And he was called up because there was an injury, but he came back, and you're right, he did hit the ball well. So the Braves are now thinking that this is going to lead to something good for him. Ozzie Albies is going to be their starting second baseman. He's a better hitter than Dansby. Dansby is a better shortstop, and hopefully they'll be able to make a pretty good double play combination. But
that's a very good young double play combination.
Yeah, I just don't think he's all the Braves thought he would be.
Really? Yeah. Freddie Freeman?
Freddie Freeman is tremendous.
Yes.
Absolutely. Had he not been injured last year, he probably would have had an MVP season.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was
really would.
Yeah. He's my favorite player on that team. And I
think
good
kid too. Yeah.
And I think one of your problems is starting pitching, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're still looking. Look, they're going to probably give Gohara a chance to be in the starting rotation.
Right.
And Sean Newcomb, another left-hander, will get a shot to be in the starting rotation.
Right.
I'm not so sure about Julio Teheran. He's gone downhill a little bit. We'll see. But they still would like to plug in a starter that that has some that has
I know
some
they've
experience.
been I was looking, that hot stove thing that they have in baseball.
Right.
They're always talking about Fulmer or Archer.
Right.
Going to the Braves.
Yeah. I saw Archer and I saw Chris Archer pitch for the Durham Bulls back when he was with the Rays, and that kid can throw, man.
Did you ever see Mookie Betts?
I did not.
Okay.
I did not.
All right, so let me ask you another thing. Right now, what sports do you watch, or you don't have time to watch any? Do you watch football, basketball?
I'll watch the NFL on Sundays because I'm a long-time Washington Redskins fan. The good thing about being a Redskins fan is that when you win, you're pleasantly surprised. So
just very few. Well, you never make it to the playoffs anymore.
No, never have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Never have to worry about getting your stomach in knots for games because hey, we won. What the hell? Wasn't that great? So I watched that, and but because I've got something going on every sports season, football, basketball, and baseball. I don't really watch many games, but I watch a lot of highlights and read a lot and watch. The internet obviously enables me to watch a lot, and I'll listen to some baseball when I'm traveling on a bus, with the minor league team if a game is going on. But I just kind of watch highlights.
And one of the reasons I'm a big fan of the Redskins is because they've amongst the years used a lot of guys from the Miami Hurricanes. And one of my favorite players of all time ever played for you guys, and he played for the Hurricanes. Remember Sean Taylor?
Yes, I do.
How about the running back that played for the Hurricanes, Portis?
Yeah, Clinton Portis, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was also a wide receiver from Miami, very popular. He was there many years. It'll come to me. What were you going to say, Glenn, while I think of the name?
Santana Moss.
Santana Moss, that's right. Yeah.
Also, Tony, how pissed are you going to be if they let Kirk Cousins go?
It's not going to bother me.
Really?
Yeah.
You're not a fan of his?
No.
You don't think that?
Look, no, we can go 7-9 without Kirk Cousins. That's fine.
God, but some of these teams that do not have a serviceable quarterback are just awful.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the Houston this year. They went from they went from like a 12, what would have been like a 12-4, 13-3 team to like a 4-12 team, just because of the quarterback.
Well, I mean, Well, listen, Redskins are never going to go 12-4. So listen, I hate to say this, I am fine with mediocrity.
Wow.
I'm fine with
That's
it.
how bad they are that you've accepted it. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's right. The days of
Bro, that
days
almost,
of the
let me
hog.
tell you something. That almost, the Hogs, what a great team, right? With Riggins and and Theismann, but and you have heat with me because you beat my Dolphins when they had that great team with Marino, and one of the main things to me, Tony, is that after so many years, because we haven't talked in how many years? 15 maybe?
Oh, well, it's been more than that.
Yeah. How about you, Guy?
Yeah.
No, I spoke with. I was on his radio broadcast the other day, and I saw Tony when he came through TNA. But
that one time I did TNA. Yeah.
Right. But it's just funny to me how when you don't talk to people for so many years, but it's almost like if we had talked maybe a week ago. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. That's incredible brothership. Yeah. Go ahead, Rick.
I'll tell you what, Tony, you made too in my career. One of the one thing that I always get retweeted. People always talk about, but you made one of the finest points of my career when I did the parody Conan video. When I did that thing, and they showed it where the Conan had the rap video, and they had me superimposed over it. I was doing my dance, and when they came back to the announcers, that they came back to the desk, and bro, you you had your hand covering your face because you were cracking up so hard, and that made it. And people go and see Tony Schiavone made that whole thing. Do you remember that?
I do not. I'm old. I did so many stuff, but I do remember laughing at you a lot. So
yeah, I do. And let me explain to you. See, Disco tried to put himself over by making it look like you were laughing at my video, but actually you were laughing at how ridiculous he was. So
I'm not out with that.
Yeah,
that was great.
Yeah, it was great. And I also wanted to say, because I had seen that match. Just I was random looking through YouTube and I was watching that match, but that was awesome that day that Hogan did join Hall and Nash, and it was like you and Heen, and I forgot who was the third guy that was with you.
Dusty Rhodes.
That would have been Dusty.
It was Dusty. Yeah. That's right, it was Dusty. Go to hell, you were getting really emotional. That was awesome. Now that I remember it.
Well, Hogan did a great. I know Hogan's taken a lot of criticism, but he did a great heel turn. If you go back and look at that during that night.
Right.
That was a tremendous heel turn, and that certainly
nobody expected it.
No, that's right. That's right.
They kept him hidden because we had Kevin Sullivan on the show, and he said that he had to keep him in his house to make sure nobody, got in his ear and made him change his mind.
Yeah, right.
So it's really crazy. Now I know you like to have, wrestling luminaries and people that have done something in the business. Is there any chance of Disco Inferno ever being on your podcast?
Well, no. There's not, but
good. That's
I was on a wrestling radio show though.
Yeah,
but that's not the podcast.
Yeah, but here and the reason is Disco. It's not a slight on you. It's that we have been doing it a year. We don't have guests. We've not set it up to where we can record guests yet. So as we move forward and start having guests, let's say we start having guests in 2019. Right. Then Disco will get around to you about 2035.
There you go.
So
thank you. Give me a date. I'll mark it down and clear it up.
I love how you're leaving with heat. That's awesome. One last thing. I want to ask you one last thing. I know because I don't know if you know this, but I used to have a show with Court Bauer on MLW. I don't think you were listening to podcasts back then.
No, I wasn't.
Yeah. Disco is a frequent guest. Anyway, so I used, the first podcasting gig I had with him. So how's that been announcing and working with Court for this MLW thing down there in Orlando?
It's been Conan. It's been great. I didn't think. I thought the business had passed me by, and I told Court. I said, you know what, Court, I don't think I have the voice or I have the excitement that I used to have for the business.
Right.
So I don't know if I'll do well, but let me tell you something, Conan and Glenn, the kids these days are great kids,
right.
And they bust their ass and they take incredible bumps and they do some stuff, and they're all very appreciative of old school business and what we did back in the 90s.
Right.
So it's great being able to go and try to help those kids further their career. So I'm really, really enjoying it on that end. I work with Rich Bikini. He does the play-by-play. I just try to add some color, and I try to make it authentic. with not much silliness and stuff. And I'm just really enjoying working with these kids. I'll tell you a quick story. One of the first matches I did was a match with Tama Tonga, who, as we know, is Haku or Ming's one of his sons.
Right.
And I went back in the dressing room and talked to him, and I said, let me tell you a story about your dad. As we all know, legitimately, Haku was a tough guy.
Right.
And I said, one time we were leaving our rental cars, in the parking lot at Universal Studios and walking to do our wrestling show. And Haku came up to me and he said, hey, Tony, you have 5 kids. I want to ask you a question as a parent. How do you get your sons to listen to you? Because my sons won't listen to me. And I stopped and I said, you ought to tell them who in the fuck you are. You're Ming.
Right.
If my dad was Ming, I would listen to you. Right. So I told Tonga that story, and he really appreciated it. And all the kids I work with are great kids. And so I'm really enjoying it. We're doing it once a month. Cord is a good guy to work with. As you guys know, it's not the big production we used to have, but it works. It works, and I'm really enjoying it.
And did you catch that emotion, or are you catching it back little by little? Did you catch it the very first night you were there, or you're getting it little by little?
Little by little, yeah. I'm getting back into it.
And that was part 2 of Keeping It 100's interview with Tony Schiavone. Thank you to Tony. Of course, you can follow him at Tony Schiavone24 on Twitter, and check out What Happened When Mondays with Tony and Conrad Thompson every Monday on iTunes or your podcast provider.